given to you. What does your life speak? Is it true?
Hello, my name is Rina Sun, and I'm calling from my Asian tour, Sawatika from Thailand. I've been doing a series of talks with female teachers and looking at what's really important to me: peace, centeredness, awakening, staying centered with my feelings, which boils down to being empowered in my life, making choices that take hold in my life. I call that practical spirituality. Being able to walk away from disempowering thoughts that want to drag me along. I'll be talking to Elle, Collier from Oregon today, and let's see what unfolds. Hi, Elle.
I did try to warn Richard I wasn't the most likely candidate for a woman's issue talk.
Yeah.
Basically, I just rely on the fact that I'm not a mistake and I have a good mind, and I don't think of it as being that I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I've never been a feminist. It never occurred to me I had to be.
I guess I hear that, you know what, and I guess I don't look at it as an issue, like a feminine issue. And I certainly hear that and receive what you're saying. It's, I don't know, to me it's just a noticing of what is, what is,
Yes.
You know, the appearance of what's happening without any intention to create separation. But all that's here right now is the experiencing of this body, and this body is a female, and somehow it engenders a whole collective that's not mine personally, that's not me, so to speak, but it, you know, it comes in here and it plays out in here. And,
do you want to hear something fun?
Yeah.
Your energy right now, to me, has this great, I could show you, this great pregnant energy right here. It's like you're in the womb energy, and you know it, like you're just pregnant with someone precious, and that it could be the next stage of the human unfolding that you're pregnant with. But it was so obvious at the moment when you were speaking of your femaleness. It suddenly went pop, and you had this pregnant energy.
Well, it's interesting, you know, because I'm premenstrual, so to speak, and I always find that it's beautiful. I'm very and more sensitive, and find it easier to embody anything that's here when I'm premenstrual.
Those are the days I'd almost have to go back to. It's been so long. I think, I know I applauded my body for giving up on that whole act in my mid-40s. I was very good little body, very nice. Nice to have to go through the disturbance of that body and the crying out for being able to present another human to the world, because the body aches for that at times. Bring a body through. Bring a body through.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Interesting how we experience that. I experienced that as a woman too. You know, I'm 50 now, and I know that, that I'm just sort of starting to notice a bit of a change, even though I have regular periods, and somehow the body sometimes says, bring another body through, even though I know, no more bodies coming through here. But it's like it knows that time is, it's just going through a transition. And it's like, one more chance, one more chance.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday I was holding a baby, we're here in Thailand, as you know, and I was holding this baby, and it just felt so beautiful to hold the baby and really connect with that innocence and childlike, curiosity that they have. It's
So, as you're saying this, I was just tucking into the unfoldment of the next, in a way, reality for the human heart.
mm,
It's clearly more like testifying that instead of just looking to nurture the youth or the young, we move past that habit of trying to nurture the weak or the still coming forth, and instead nurture that spark of unity and just grow it in our own respect. So I then see you and grow you to me and just nurture my liking of you and just hail Mary, well met, and just kind of this voluptuous, virginal, always ready to bring the God child of fullness through and impeccably through all the way to maturity in this speck of a moment. Poof. It's a simple dot of an excuse to go deeper than we use each other. Just take that little dot like a hallway through our normal mind, our normal witnessing space of loving another, right on through that delicate transition of I see you, this lovely woman, all the way through to God, and there kneel, because of you, kneel inwardly and real me. It's kind of a funny twist of terms of realm my body's alertness, make the alertness exactly able to stop judging, center, and decide there really is no division between us. And no more than that. And then we go right through where there's no dusk, there's no day we're waiting for, there's just light together. Now we began to be able to speak and talk about things of humanity in a very different voice. It doesn't matter what we talk about, in other words. We can talk about the speck of dander in the scalp or anything. It's all still real me speaking together as a linked union of heart of wholeness. Hard to find words for this, but you know what I'm saying, I'm sure.
Oh, I do, and it's felt so deeply. Mm. Mm.
I think that's the more important change. The barriers remove themselves instantaneously. It doesn't matter that we have a garbage mind full of indelicacies of thought, because somehow those are just moved past. We go right into the whole reality that is like living within I don't know how to tell you, but it's reality after reality after reality of coined mind no more. It just, all of that imagined reality dissipates. And that's when I say, what is this thing called gender anyway? Just that we have different functions while in bodies, but we are really made to unite where it's gender free. Mm-hmm. I have one more thing about where I was starting to find a way to translate from the garbage mind. It keeps being called the garbage mind. It has all of its old histories and histrionics of ideas about everything. Just try not to go to the garbage mind. But right here, let me see if I can point. Right here, which is about 2 inches below the clavicle. And instead of thinking about what I'm to say, or you thinking about what you're to say, it rises up, comes through this voracious reader of the chamber of silence, it's sometimes called. It's the next arena. Don't even want to limit it by calling it a chakra. And as the words begin to imitate less and less of this, and just register love and the light of the sound current of God in the working of finding a way to repair our mind and find our direct link to words, we actually begin to have, at the outset of any kind of witnessing of separation, a sensitivity to what's trying to make room in us for the mastered well, the very person of your, it's called your well nature, the one who is thriving in the truth of oneness as current itself. This isn't a very big statement, but it is unusual to try and find our way of speaking about. But we have only God working through us and helping us find a way to raise our interest from the lonely person to the one who is coming together like two parts of a wheel that had been divided so we couldn't cross over the path naturally. That you and I would somehow form a way to then bring our energies together, and it's something exactly that makes subjects just roll together, and we take the path directly without any idea why we're on a certain subject. It just starts to occur from our core witnessing of what love is building, what God love is making so. I'm just looking to see if there's some other way to connect the words to natural English here.
You're doing a wonderful job, Elle. I'm feeling what you're saying, and I'm feeling that dance between us. And really, you're just pointing to, we're just talking about what's here and what arises from here, and not from any idea or pre-thought of what we may have wanted to talk about, or just arises from this space.
As we sit here, there's not something as likely to be found in words as the logic, capital L, of the universe resounding before we actually look for any commitment of hanging out together. Something that is undivided starts up between us. No more words. So perhaps the audience, if they are with us on this, if this is kept in the offering, can just sense what it means to liberate thought and still stay together. not just by looking at the person, but by waiting on, my hands are going to go out and out and out away from my neck, actually. Just keep going out until the arms are fully outstretched. And then, though it's not exactly ready to happen this way where I am a body doing it, the energy is springing loose and just saying, I am more than my mind and my sensation of anything. I have no reason to work on anything. All is repaired. But the body does not know it. It's as if the body holds still, awaiting the transition, but does not know exactly yet how to content itself in the still point of no connection to the mind of the old season and the old reason. Can we just sit in the silence for 2 minutes? Thank you for helping this. There's an effort. It's a curious, good word. It's an effort, an energy of strength needed to make the mind a clean vessel and to keep moving past the judging awareness of even our fifth dimensional natures coming together. Even that, which is so beautiful, we want to pause and go, oh, look at that. Notice that. Let's come again. Let's stay in that. Even that to go past is quite something. There is something very singular about this state. It's not the debris that's looking back again at what inflamed, what gorged on its nature and brought it to simple isness, like from rich material of thoughts and theories and experience to a zone of unprotected. There's not even a necessary description, as if even the power to analyze is resisted. And it's nothing like anything we can state. So I say, finally, whatever has burned away is of no consequence. It's done. I have no reason to go back and look inside of the soot. That is the bit of the cinder that had been glowing. The human is like a cinder for a long time, glowing, glowing, just enough goodness of understanding to keep itself feeling like it's really full of spirit. And when it takes that next sudden escape clause of, yes, you can still go through this system and symptom of being a mind, a body, a woman, a man, and come back again and still have no light. Not unless looking leaves. Can you activate the leftover nature no more and just resume the whole consciousness, the complete continuum of consciousness? So what I'm saying is something almost foolish to report here. Yet as we start to do this, we're starting to evolve, not you and me necessarily, but evolve a pure field for certainty to change like a new code being developed. Not a new law, but a way of developing truth together. Truth birthed from our coming together. As if we're two genders bringing forth. But in a sense, it's just God bringing forth. So all around you may notice a kind of vaporousness. It can be distinguished only as something that is, it doesn't have any particular clause that says this is what is going on. Yet if we notice it easily, it's just undividable presence. I still try on words, possibly because we have an audience. But it's without the language we use, so here it is. We're trying on terms while going through a very sudden, difficult, very almost shy masterpiece of change. Again, almost it could be said is not so much that we are together, Rina and Anam, also called Elle, but because we've said yes to being undivided. That's a good one. We can try this with those who are reaching out into this moment here to be with us and see what's going on. It's very heartening to put a certain kind of applause on this ladling of God realm again, no word, preciousness of respect coming back over our true good and arranging it so we are held into the light, and as a cinder to the flame burst open, reinvented to pure truth again. And all who are partaking can, again, I'll say this, take a partnership. That's something close to it. Take a strong enough choosing of this that they have no reason to depart from loyalty to the change. It's a change recommended. It's been around forever, this possibility. It is stronger, perhaps, more perfectly accompanied by the childlike nature in each who are witnessing this than by any idea about it. Simply said now, we forgive, we forget for that brief instant of being relieved of all need to re-experience anything. As soon as we have that happen, we are supported into the noble I am state. And from there, boosted, as in shoved mightily from the thought about any regrets of being so big and so many, so somehow still unsure of themselves. Going through that tiny opening, I mentioned that earlier, that little hole in two, just between us, that little respite of the inferior mind into this gargantuan opening. We call it sometimes toward the inner spaciousness of one. And then the mind that has sought itself dissolves more easily, and yet still is present enough to retain the good truth. No one else wants in. When we get to this stage, there's no devils, no demons, nor woman, nor man, nor child who can literally break through for a moment, and it can be quite a long while. We'll see that we are feeling retrained, partly retrainable, still not able to help ourselves descend again until we can just talk normally. Nonetheless, ready for duty, like in the Secret Service. Can't tell anybody yet, but ready to do whatever we sometimes like to call it our mission, our purpose line, our deed that we are to do. Just ready and now able. It's like finally coming into being an official but it's not because somebody pinned a label to us, it's just that we are astute in what we're about. And it's because to come like this in a very unstable moment where there is no official way to say why we're doing this or who's leading this, and we give each other the permission to hold space for something new to occur. This is also what the Word, it's also called the Word of Earth, the creative, the manifest design of Earth. It's what the manifest design of Earth is seeking still to actually rediscover its simpler, precious light nature. So there's that little spark, and I had pointed here before, 2 inches below the clavicle. That can be where everything else seems to burn away, that is not the light I am. And then the neck is recovered. It's not an exhaust of sound anymore. It's not an exhaust of any kind. It's an intake that combs through the memory of the budding let's put it this way, it calms down the one who would feel remorse for needing to feel like we're being dumbed down, that we cannot exactly speak anything on any level yet. And as well, it seems to support us choosing to be undamned, D-A-M-M-E-D, maybe the other two, by ourselves or others. Choosing to be a flow of sound current that always means direct love moving through us to others, as well as the law of good embracing all. So one more piece on this. I have no way to stop this life from ending that is here now. This person that you see, this human is a lie without this lessening of any decision that would reframe everything to her world viewpoint. What has to reposition here is something sudden, no longer a riddle. And I'm not speaking from myself right now, but from what is coming through and trying to utter itself. What is to be reformed on earth is our intelligence, our sudden coming into great intelligence. We have become awake almost way too early, before we have become a person of good, a person of God fully. So what we're to see to is to calm down that supra almost beauty of mind and have a sudden intake, like a gasp, and resume what I sometimes hear called the Zen mind. It has no accomplice of idea. It's just made simple and nude of need to program itself in any way, in any litany of any person's way of trying to purify it. Even that. No scolding. As I said a while ago, no one can get through. It's a renunciate of earth. When that is finished, we live here differently. And earth is made holy, which means whole. No propaganda against any aspect of it ever needed again. No labeling, no morality telling us how to live. It's just wholeness is available again. So there it is. I'm said. Do you have something you can put into your words from this?
I feel quite speechless, really. It's like really not too many words are coming up, and I don't want to search for words for the reason of just searching for words to be spoken.
Because this is something that is enacting us, making us different. We actually cannot transit from wholeness to the capacity to be God on earth as yet. There is a denizen of whole population of anxious ones around you who wish for you to speak more human speak and you're resisting it calmly, you can have a sense that there's much working on you, trying to make it so that your mind is more respectably called normal. Yet you're already intact in this other zone, and you have no interest in respecting the common mind's denizen of thoughts against this, or for a more respectable way to speak. That's a God sign. More than a good sign, it's a God sign. That you're accompanying love to where there's no hedonism left. That's exact. There's no capacity for self-tutoring, self-pleasuring, or looking for comfort. And it's very uncomfortable when we start to go toward this zone. For many people, very uncomfortable. The zone, it's a word that would hinder us. It's an O zone, a oneness zone, a between levels from the material to what is uncontained. It has no atmosphere. The ozone is a good place to check on. We have our own ozone placement. We're to move through it. We're to be where we're uncontained. And then from there, the supplier, capital S, mutates this nature, the way the whole cellular nature works on Earth, in a better way than we've ever been able to figure it out through our clearing, our aura, support, or the food we eat. And this is a small dose of something that is coming for every person. Women, men, mainly the older ones, not the young children in the same manner. Mainly those who are past much of the life experience, like around 40 and above for a while. It's coming because you can take it. You've looked for the answers. You've waited for something to change and to be changed through enough that you don't try again to replicate the snail's pace of finding your undivided self. So we welcome it together. We smile it into our good use of this moment together. And whether we have an audience matters little tonight. This is more curious. It's almost lonely making for people on first hearing. It's, oh dear, I don't know whether we want to go here, nor even listen to this. They probably say something like this crap. Because go ahead.
I was just going to say the temptation to run with the story is just sometimes too much, and I find it so easy to just rock off center. You know, someone can sort of look at me cross-eyed, and I can just like fall off center. You know, these stories come up. How do we deal with these temptations?
We have many layers of seeing to things, and you can use your chakras as a good evidence. We have the shopping layer, which is our solar plexus, looking for something that is good and edible, that makes us feel like we're being nourished. We have that layer of reality, and it's there. It's very, very logical to keep that chakra of good use. We have the nurturing chakra, that second chakra. Where's that? Down here. Yeah, below the belly button. Okay. And that needs to be sent to by our loving nature and assured it's being taken care of, because we will only give to the belly the good to work with, whether that's food, breath, or thought. We will only do that. And as we prepare ourselves to give good to the first chakra too, which is where we urinate and defecate and make love and bring forth babies, as well as sit and move our body along the ground by pumping the stuff down through our legs and feet. That'll keep us moving.
Is that choice we make?
Yes, kind of. If we're going to take it to where you're heading us, if we are actually going to integrate all the lower parts of our form's alertness to the unity, to the Christ, in fact, the anointed state. I'm using a word that is simply meaning that which good has made, no man shall ever hurt or change. It is the anointed good, made for woman and man to come back into good as well. So as that layer, which is our fourth dimensional but deeper motivation to be in the enrichment of God, not afraid at all to be God purposed, that can go through and work the bedevilments of our psyche from hindering this good nature. So we go shopping and we bring God to the shopping and to the mall, to the people, to the procreation between us of unity joys, and as well to seeing what we can do to support those who are either robbing us or being harmed or robbed by others. We may find ourselves doing things we didn't realize we could do by going out into the world. I'm often asked to go out and walk among the shopping areas and just be with the people and stay clean, and not just to join them, but to observe and to be part of that layer of energetic purpose that keeps God, it's a real thing, keeps God available to their nerves. I just procreate with their own goodness. Doesn't always vibrate directly off the human, but we can go way out. If you take my hands, you can't see them, but they're going to go way out again, all the way out to the edges of my capacity to put my arms out. And even way beyond that, I call it the wingtip to wingtip mechanism of joining their great nature and causing a vibrancy of applauding generosity. There's no earth term for this, of those who are helpers. They're coming through then into this area we're in, and the whole place starts to vibrate better. A lot of clearing begins to happen. I know that there are such things as demons. There's a lot of capacity given back to support a change in the way the frequency is, and in that change of frequency, much clearing starts. So you go out shopping and your notions go, well, I sure like the blue dress, or I would sure like to buy that boy a little sucker. And that's all fine. You're just enjoying the fact that you have many different layers of understanding moving you toward selections, and then keep calling in something more of your awakened light awareness to join you in the simple tasks of life.
This is what I've been looking for, what I'm looking for, more facility to make choice, to bring God, openness into my activities or life. Is this just grace, or is it choice that we make?
That's a good question. What does grace mean? But the employed, this loving nature, the employed being permitted a change of focus long enough for the God level to just joy through. It's a very intricate study. Grace occurs when we least are thinking about it or accepting it sometimes. We feel a sudden overlay and our whole body feels like a burden has been lifted. We feel an awe coming through us. What is that from? It has to do with things have been laid into a place where they can rest for a moment, and the joining of layers happens. And it's not a linear, there's no schism between the one and this realm. It just all comes together. There are moments when this happens, we call them grace, but they are as natural as the pulse. There's a pause point, and then there's a resurgence of that gift of energy coming through. You could call that grace, just the way the system is working to perfect pause. It's not quite the word, but that perfect release point, and then the start again of act. Grace is just before the act. Grace can happen just before the act. That's when it comes, just before the act. Fills you up when you least notice that you want it.
Isn't it the choice just before the act?
Sometimes, possibly, not necessarily only. You could call it your Dharma moment. That moment where you've been chosen, because all the other things that have been schisms are out of the way for a moment.
And you decide to go with it.
It's a good thing. It's true. When it comes, you just need to keep opening, emptying, and saying, good. As I said, when we were going through that fifth dimensional, oh, look at the I am of each other, stopping the mind from trying to scout for language even, or to look again, instead going through to the next layer of what is, will support that you call grace becoming more the power that moves everything through you. And it's not about you at all any longer. It's that you're a vessel again.
I was really speechless after that, I have to say. It's like when you said, do you have anything to say? It's like... Mm.
Is there anything else we should talk about today?
Well, this was quite different. Nothing arises for now, it's really been more about the connection than anything else, really, than any subject today. It's been about feeling one another and moving deeply into that.
I know that this is the beginning of something that is stronger than this time together can never have words for. But we will have lots of words later, lots of things to exchange. I hope we meet again soon. after you've recovered from your jaw stuff again.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Good. Good. Beloved. Dear
Thank
friend.
you.
Bye.
What does your life speak? Is it true? 'Cause in the poetry of space and time,